For this video, we're going to take a look at Campsite Bistro. So in order to log in, you go to your website /wp-admin, where you'll put in your username and password. And then you'll be in this back end where all of the things that we're going to look at are over here down on the left. So we'll start with updates. Over here, this is all the plugins that we use for your site, and you can select them all and update them as you see that there are updates available, or you can leave that for us. We regularly update all the plugins on all of our websites a couple times a month, so you don't ever have to worry about that at all if you don't want to. So moving on to posts, this is a big part of your site, and so I'm going to open up a link to your homepage, and it looks like you've already made some posts in here, and so I'll just go over briefly what these look like. And basically what we have are a title, some text, maybe a link somewhere, and a recipe section along with a category selected and a featured image over here on the right. So how you would do this is add new. You would put the title of your post here, put whatever content or copy you want here, and when you want to add the recipe information, you fill in these blanks as necessary. And you've got these different tabs, and you've got all these different items, and fill that in. And click add recipe, and you could get rid of it. By doing that, and then you would select whatever category you wanted over here. Breakfast, desserts, dinner, happy hour, and then you'd set your feature image by uploading files, dragging them, or selecting files through here, or something that's already in your media library. And then you would click publish, and then it will show up in the appropriate place based on the category. So if you want to delete an item, you can just hit trash and it'll show up in this trash folder. And if you want to get rid of it, if you want to leave it there and bring it back, maybe you can restore it, or you can delete it permanently. And you can reorder your posts if you'd like through here. Media library. This is just where all of your photos, or if you were to ever upload any documents or PDFs or anything like that, that's where this would be located. But like you saw in the posts, if you ever needed to update anything, then you can do that through the media button on those pages. But this is where all that's located. So we'll move on to forms. And you have a contact and an email updates form. So we'll take a brief look. And if you ever want to add anything to this, if you ever want to reorder it, you just drag these items, and you can change how they appear by changing the field label. You can make them required or not by clicking here. You can add fields through here, name, time, date, things like radio buttons. That's how we created this, where you would just give the label right here, and then you can change the titles of these and add them or delete them as needed. And you can delete this and then hit update to update it and make your changes. And if you click on entries, then it'll show you all the entries that have been made for this form. You can click preview, see kind of what it looks like. Not exactly, but it gives you kind of an idea of what it may look like on the page. And then for notifications, this would be how you would receive emails for notifications. So for now, it sends to the administrator for the website. And if you ever wanted to change this, then I duplicated this notification, and all I would have to do is come in and change this email to whatever email I wanted, and then click update notification. And I think your other form is fairly simple as well, and it works just the same way. So we'll move on to pages. So for this page, it works the same way that posts do, and you can edit any of this information. You can change the size of any of your text, can bold, italicize anything, you can center it or align it differently, bulleted lists, numbered lists. If you want to add a hyperlink to another website, then you would just highlight what you have and then link it to, you would copy and paste obviously whatever link, or just do it like that. And then if you wanted to remove the link, you just remove it and always hit update. And then there's a featured image on this page, so if you ever wanted to change this image, you would just upload a new picture here. And the Contact Me page has some text, and then your form is added the way that you add it. So if you ever created a new form, is by adding a form, and then you select which one you want, and then you don't want to display the title or the description, and then if you just insert the code right there, it does it for you, but don't need to change anything there. And under homepage areas, that's the next thing we want to look at. The only homepage area you have is this About Campfire Bistro, which is this right here. So if you ever want to change the text on this section of your homepage, this is where it's located. And it works just like posts or anything else. You can change the text here. And then if you scroll down, this is where the photo that is in the background is located, and you can change that out through here. There's some other formatting items on here that you may not want to mess with, but if you do end up changing the photo, then there's a color overlay, a background color over the top, and that the transparency of that color is adjusted through this slider. So if you have any problems with that, let us know, but if you want to change any of that out, just make your changes and click update, and it should just appear for you. I don't think you're using staff members. Genesis is the theme for your website. There's nothing really to talk about there, so we'll move on to appearance. And under appearance, we want to talk about widgets and menus. So we'll start with widgets. This is how a lot of your homepage is set up. So for the header, we have this image here, which is your logo. So if you ever want to change that image, if you have a different logo that you want to use, you can update it here and change the size of it. And then you want to make sure it links to your homepage so that when people click on it, that it brings them back to the homepage. And if you add or get rid of any of your social media, you may not want to change any of this part up here, but you can add URLs here for your social media or get rid of them if you end up not using those anymore. And then you would always hit save. And so these are just kind of collapsible, and you can see it goes basically from top to bottom. And so we've got these social media icons. And this is the sidebars on other pages. So let's look at, we want to look at home top. This is where you have Revolution slider. So I'll show you kind of how to update these items on this homepage slider here if you ever want to change any of those things. But it's just located right here. And then we've got featured posts. So this just auto-populates when you create new posts. And then we've got homepage areas, which allows that block about your site here. And then under that is more featured posts for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we've got your sign up for email updates form and title added through there. And then the custom social media menu. And then just your regular menu. So I don't know if there's anything that you would want to change on there other than maybe some social media stuff, but that's where all that's located so that you know. So let's move on to menus, and that's where so we want to look at this header primary navigation menu. And this is added through if you add new pages, then you can add them. They'll be over here, and you would just select them and add it to the menu. It'll add it to the bottom, and you can rearrange it. And so if you want to create a new category for your blog posts and you need help implementing that and making that look right, you can let us know. But you can change the navigation label, and you can rearrange these however you'd like just by dragging them. And that's probably just the main things you need to know. But if you end up needing to add a new category and want to add a new place for it and a new menu item, you can let us know and we'll work with you on that. But if you end up adding a new page and you want to add it to your menu, because if you add a page, there's no way for anyone to get to it unless it's on your menu. So it would show up here and you just select it and then you can put it on your menu. You just want to make sure it still looks good up here. And if you add too many things up here, it's obviously going to get too long and not look right. And I don't think we're using, let me go back to this real quick. I don't think we're using, we are using the social media menu for the footer because these ones are the simple social icons, and then we're using these for the menu. So under this social media menu, what you would do if you wanted to add another one would add a custom link, and then you'd put your social media URL there, and then you'd put your link text. You would copy and paste this, and then you would change the word Facebook or whatever to Yelp or whatever other social media that you wanted to add, and you'd select it and select add to menu, and it'll show up over here, and then you can drag and rearrange these as you like and always click save. And that's all that you need to know about under menus. Plugins, don't need to really talk about that. If you want to add another plugin to help out with things on your website, you're free to do that and welcome to do that. Users, this is where your username and password is, and if you want to change your password, this is where you would change it. Tools, settings, SEO, things we're not going to talk about here, but if you have questions about, you can ask. Duplicator, that's something to launch the website. And I think the only other thing we need to talk about here is slider revolution, and that's what creates this slider here at the top of your page. And this is auto-populated with your latest blog posts. So as long as you continue to post blogs and have good images like this and give them titles, it will auto-populate and you don't even have to worry about this at all. So pretty simple. If you have any questions though, let us know and we'd be happy to help you and hopefully figure out any additional questions that you might have. But that should get you going and answer maybe any questions that you had lingering.